Shalom and good day all. This is Tehillim29 back again for another Super Sons Fortress of Attitude review for Adventures of John Kent. I'm not going to call it the other name because that is the imposter name of this particular John Kent. And to those who really want to know the origins of this John Kent, it wasn't the Convergence, what they're going to show you in the DC Pride. No. The origin of this particular John Kent begins in the Bendis universe of Man of Steel 2018. Moving on from that, let's move into first things first, and that is the area of the cover. Does this cover in any way, shape, or form connect to something that's happening inside with the story? Sure enough, it does, to which I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the internal art as we look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end. And as the story begins, we have the character of Ultraman just gone to one of the random multiverses and attacking the Kal-Els. I want to immediately criticize because we don't actually know which particular one or which particular Earth that this Ultraman has gone to in the multiverses, and that is a very disappointing start at the beginning of the story. But in regards to the art, we'll soon move on into the next thing. Alright, now moving a little bit forward in the story, of course we move into the character of John Kent, and we learn that this is actually Earth Zero. Well, it's definitely not Prime Earth then if it's Earth Zero. So this is a John of a different multiverse. And more confirmation for the case that this John is not the John which is linked to the Convergence series at all. We, of course, catch up with Jay, to which, in this case, he should absolutely know nothing about John Samuel Kent or his identity. The fact that they sort of kept this, I think, was bloody stupid, considering what happened in Action Comics 1050, I think it was, or where it had to do with Manchester Black. I'd say even with that, J2 should have also been affected in the events that occurred there. As we jump a little bit closer into the middle of the story, we got a share of events to which John is trying to prevent until we get the appearance of Val Zod. The story continues where Lois Lane meets Lois Lane, and of course Mr. Terrific, and we draw into the next issue. So for the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I didn't mind the art at all, but let's see how things go in regards to the story. So first things first, did we get any comic references? And sure enough, we did. We had a comic reference in regards to the Lazarus Planet event, Assault on Krypton, which really in a big way didn't actually affect him that much. I think it was more so another issue. Then we had the New 52 Earth 2 connection. So once again, this sort of feels like a bit of a connection that this is connected. This particular John is connected to basically a New 52 point half universe, where others would want to disagree. And the John Kent of the New 52 universe, his middle name was Lane. This one is not John Samuel Kent, just for a reminder. Even though the writers at DC would want you to believe, or writers and editors would want you to believe you, but do not believe the biography that they put out on the DC Pride. There's something different about this John Kent, which doesn't match the Dan Jurgens John Kent and the Peter J. Tomasi John Kent. Moving into the next area, and that is the time, to which we only had now addressed. We didn't have anything sort of like addressing what was happening with the previous universe to which Ultraman was happening, and that is a disappointment. Moving into the next area, and that is location, and that was Earth Zero. We didn't get the Earth location to which Ultraman was killing the Kal-El of the particular universe, and that is a huge disappointment. Stuff like that need to be thrown into the story, because if you don't throw it in the story, why should we bloody care about either Ultraman or even the Clark Kent of another multiverse, or even feel that their particular universe is in threat? It's stupid. Last but not least, and that is the cast of characters, to which we had Ultraman, John Kent, Jay, the villain Nakamura. We had Oracle being used, Val Zod. We also had Lois Lane and Mr. Terrific. For the overall story rating in this, I give it a 6 out of 10. Until then, we'll see you again at Super Sun's Fortress of Attitude when we return to the next issue of this. And who knows if anything else might actually turn up. So we'll see you again at Super Sun's Fortress of Attitude.